What's up, guys? What is going on? Hope everybody's doing well. Late summary of the PSG versus or Chelsea versus PSG game at Stamford Bridge. I almost was not going to cover this game just because I only got to watch half of it, and the other half I had to watch the next day. And by that time, just between school and work, I just could not get myself to talk about this game. But this is the game that I really wanted to talk about more than the Liverpool versus Galatasaray. That was set and done for me. Chelsea, on the other hand, I didn't feel that they had. I felt that they might have a chance. I should say, they might have a chance just because they're so inconsistent that sometimes they play. I don't care if you're not a Chelsea fan, but man, they play very highly entertaining football, in my opinion. I've seen it in the past and just blown away by gameplay that they had. And then they have like subsequent games that they do pretty okay. And again, it's fun. It's fun football. And then it's just you don't even recognize it. And this was with Pochettino. I don't know about Potter, but Pochettino and Maresca. And again, I have to reiterate because I don't think Maresca would have done anything differently with this PSG team, or it's up in the air really. It's a coin toss when it comes to Maresca. Probably because he beat them and he beat them pretty thoroughly, pretty good. Also, he did a fantastic job when they played the final of the Club World Cup. That maybe there's a chance there that he could have done something completely different that Rosinha missed out. But I just came off of watching Football Meta, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't watched him a long time. Really good tactician, but I disagreed with the first goal, kind of making a pretext for Sarr, an excuse on Sarr, saying that I think it was Kukureya and Chalobah and maybe some other player moving all the way to the left and doing Sarr a disservice, leaving him alone and not having any help. I disagree with that so much because this is a player, despite being 19, making his debut as a starter for Chelsea. Bro, like when you're making a debut like that, even though you're 19, you're highly qualified over thousands other players that could be playing instead of you. And I think that falls solely on him. And it happens. It's just like that. It's not the world's biggest crime. It's not, the great fall. It's not the end of the world. It just happens and you learn from that. And that's about it. But to say that, oh, it's because like they went on all the way out to the left side covering him, let poor little Sarr all by himself. Now against Kvaratskhelia just happens to be coming up and coming, right? I mean, he was big, I know, when he was in Napoli and stuff, but had it been, let's say, Garnacho, all right, like playing for PSG, no problem. Nobody would have said like, oh, how could you leave Sarr all by himself with a player like Garnacho? He has him in check. He's going to be able to keep up with him and dispossess Garnacho. I disagree with that. Maybe the second goal when it came to Caicedo being pressed and, PSG did a fantastic job all around. But to say that that's the reason why, and, they show the still image, right? The slow motion or still image of Caicedo just being pressed by, I think it was Neves, and I believe it was Mendes, but two players that ended up pressing, as well as Dembele pressing up from the front. That's why he couldn't do anything. It's like, no, man. And blaming Chalobah. Chalobah shouldn't given the pass to Caicedo. You've seen so many of these passes given in very tight spaces and they come out playing marvelously. So that's kind of another, and I tend to disagree with that somewhat. And just the kick was phenomenal. I mean, the confidence that Barcola had to be able to not find someone instead and take it upon himself was, that's just like the talent. You just got to admit that was pure talent. That was just a great shot and that's it. And you move on to the next thing. Now, as for the whole game, yeah, Chelsea have no excuse at all because this whole thing about it's being a project, you can no longer say that. We need more time, and once we get a center back, once we get a left back, which they probably do need, but you can't be using that as an excuse anymore. You got to get a goalkeeper because Sanchez, like, dude, you can't say. We got to get another coach because Rosinha's like, you can't say that. $2 billion team, and you keep talking like that, that's weak. That's weak. I'm sorry. I mean, all those things are probably true, but to say that they're so young, they're the youngest in the league, and they're up and coming, you got to give them more time. Like, I don't think you can say that anymore. That doesn't stand, and it shouldn't. I thought they were making an effort, especially I saw Neto. Neto was the one at the beginning who was making so much effort. He was giving it all, his all, but he's not a game changer. He's not going to decide the game for you. Palmer's just that. That's his play. Like I said many times before, he got found out. He's going to have great games and against big teams as well. But as a whole, collectively, he's so inconsistent. And he fits, I guess, this Chelsea team. He is so inconsistent. And there were players like Caicedo giving, somewhat they're all, but after the goal, the response to that was, yeah, it was nothing. I got to see more than someone like Caicedo. And that's why I have a problem with Caicedo being somewhat blamed, because he was marked so well by Neves, or I think it was Vitinha that was marking man to man. Because this guy has been hailed as the best player for the last year at least. I've been hearing nothing but the best player in his position. So to say like, oh, because he just man marked him that one time and like completely obsoleted him, completely canceled him out, it doesn't hold up for me, because you can't do that. You can't use that for the whole entire game. You could do that in some parts of the game, but not the whole game. So I saw effort from Neto. Joao Pedro was putting in some effort. He definitely had a lot of the ball. Palmer was lost, and everybody else. There was no effort, no desire to win back the balls, and no response whatsoever. So it's the attitude for me that wasn't completely there. At the beginning, you did see that desire and that push to want to and go do things. Psychologically, they're just defeated. And I think it has to do with maybe Rosenior seems like a great guy. And I don't think Chelsea needs a great guy. They need a manager. They need someone that they look up to, someone that they respect. At least they got that with Maresca. That's the only thing I could say that Maresca was like doing right, is that just his conviction and his personality, his strong character. And Rosenior doesn't look like he has that. And then you got like in the second half, someone like Garnacho coming in, which I said before in the first game, he doesn't belong in this kind of game whatsoever. But I mean, who else do you have, I guess? You got the injury list, but at that point, just let whoever's playing just play, because Garnacho's not going to do anything. And he didn't do anything yet again. Just sad, because it could have been a really good game, but it was already from early on just decided as being a PSG game. This was somewhat of an easy win for PSG. Doesn't seem like Chelsea at home, especially at Stamford Bridge, which is a difficult place to go and play and win and get a win. It's very disappointing to see that from Chelsea. Anyways, guys, that's all I want to talk about. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.